know what is what.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is Cult of the Living Dead.
A couple years ago, the baby being baptized.
Oh yeah, dude, I have that video on my phone. I was watching it with my partner, and she was like, "Isn't this from something else?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the fucking baby being baptized that I watch whenever I'm having a bad day. Like that shit always cheers me up."
Where's the money, asshole?
Where's the money, shithead? And the baby's just like,
Shit.
that shit's fucking hilarious. I fucking love that fucking video.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
I was dying when that part came on.
I've had that on my phone. I feel like for at least 5 years.
I mean, just the fact that you have that just saved on your phone forever, like
Just ready to go.
yeah.
You know what would cheer me up?
This
I had
baby
it-
being baptized.
This baby.
I had it when
being
I went from like
baptized.
Android to iPhone, back to Android, back to iPhone. It's like
This-
transitioned like multiple times.
This
the video-
file is
The video is all small, like super tiny and fuzzy.
Dude, the megapixels are trash.
You can only really make out what's going on because you know what happened in the video.
Yeah. I can love it.
forgot how aggressive that dude's dunking the baby.
That dude's fucking. That dude is taken over by the power of the Lord, bro. What do you mean? Like borderline spiking that little fucker. It's a crazy ass priest too.
For
He
real.
looks wild. Oh
I
man.
wonder where that baby is now.
Probably just fucking crushing it at life. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Cult of the Living Dead. Today we are covering the Big Lebowski, the 1998 comedy. I am your host, The Dale, followed by my two co-hosts, Saya
Yo,
and Twan.
What up?
All right, guys. So before we get into it in depth, what was your guys' first impressions of the Big Lebowski? Or I guess better yet, have we all have seen this movie prior to this viewing, right?
yeah, I'd
Yeah.
seen it prior, but I don't think I've never seen it and analyzed it and thought about like, what the hell is this movie about? I just kind of watched it. So I felt like this was, even though I'd seen it before, I felt like this was the first time really watching it because I took the time to analyze it.
What about you, Twan?
Yeah, I've seen this movie many times. I love this movie. It's a great movie.
Same. I've seen this movie numerous times. It is directed by the legendary Coen Brothers. So the Coen Brothers are probably their most critical, like I guess commercially successful movie is probably No Country for Old Men. I think they won the Oscar for that one. I think so. I have to double check. They also did Fargo, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Burn After Reading. On Netflix, I have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. So the Coens are known in Hollywood. They're kind of like a powerhouse duo of directors. This movie has a pretty stacked cast. We have Jeff Bridges playing Jeffrey Lebowski, aka the Dude, who he'll be referred to as for the majority of this pod. We have Walter Shosek, call him Walter, played by John Goodman. Donnie, played by Steve Buscemi. We got Maud Lebowski, played by Julianne Moore. The Big Lebowski, the other Lebowski, played by David Hiddleston. We got Brandt, played by the legend Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace. We got Bunny, played by Tara Reid, also rest in peace. We got the Jesus.
Wait, what? Tara Reid's
Yeah.
not dead?
Isn't she?
No, she was just on a show. Called Special Forces on Fox.
I'm getting her confused with what's her name from Sin City? She
Brittany
was
Murphy.
Brittany Murphy. Yeah, I take that back. Tara Reid, you're good. Edit it out. Fucking, we'll do it live.
Please don't sue us.
We got the Jesus played by John Turturro, and the stranger, the narrator of this movie, played by the legendary voice himself, Sam Elliott. Coors, the banquet beer. That's Sam Elliott, if you guys don't know.
It was
All right.
good.
So, what do you guys think of the cast?
I mean,
Great,
all-star
right?
cast. It's
I
a
mean,
great cast.
Steve Buscemi is a personal favorite of mine. I love them as Mr. Pink in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get a lot of like lines in this movie. He's
No,
he's kind of like
definitely doesn't.
railroaded by everybody else, but
He's supposed to just railroaded by Walter, but
yeah.
Well,
I think it was definitely a huge cast. There was so many other people. That guy from Harry Potter is in it too. David Wheeler, who plays as Knox. I think he's Maud's friend at one point in time.
the like videographer guy, the guy who's like sitting on a couch.
Yeah, he's sitting on a couch reading a magazine. It also has Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, it's Nihilist number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wrote that down.
There's so many people in this movie. It was really cool.
We didn't go over the music. We like to cover the music. It was composed by Carter Burwell, and it does a lot of movies with the Coens, from it looks like. So the movie starts off with Sam Elliott introducing the dude and kind of commentating on the state of the early 90s. Right? He brings up that the US is in the Gulf War and how certain people are just created for a certain time and place. And as he describes it, the dude is one of those people. What do you guys think of the intro with Sam Elliott kind of breaking down the dude, his place in the world, his place in Los Angeles, and the setting of them like kicking it off right at the bowling alley?
It was I mean, Sam Elliott, you couldn't ask for a better narrator. I mean, I think only Morgan Freeman might be better, but it's like iconic voice, man. It just it hits different coming in with his voice. I feel like should have been drinking a Coors while watching it.
Right? Some type of, make sure the mountains are blue.
Yeah.
It gives it a really like cowboy western kind of feel in the beginning, but the movie itself isn't, to me it doesn't seem like a western movie. It's a lot more modern, and they definitely tie in, they let you know like where they're at in the movie politically, like what is going on. That's definitely a main point that you see throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I don't think I haven't seen this movie for like a while. It's been a number of years, but I showed it to my partner like a while back when we first started dating. I was like, oh, this is a good like comedy movie, but it's also like, it's a Coen Brothers movie, so it's the smart movie, I guess. And I didn't remember, like I remember Sam Elliott as the narrator, but I didn't remember him kind of setting up like, oh, this all takes place in the backdrop of the United States, like the first like Gulf War against the Iraqis and like Saddam. And I was like, oh, I don't remember that like being like a theme in the beginning. I just remember all like the crazy shit and all the one-liners throughout this movie because there's a lot of them. So I thought that was pretty cool because it kind of like made me look at the movie in a new light. And I was like, oh, I didn't notice this before. So like it kind of made me like pay attention to those things throughout and kind of see how those themes kind of flowed throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah. This movie, I think it not begs, but it easily opens up like an analysis, because that's such like a point throughout the whole movie. Like it's not just the narrator. I think his name is the stranger in this. It's like there's commercials going on. There's like dream sequences. There's just so much that's happening around it that you can easily kind of analyze it in that way. But it's something that I didn't catch that at all in the beginning, the first time watching it. I had to like turn on like a different part of my brain in order to analyze stuff. And I do that with music too. Like the first listen through, I never listen to like the lyrics of stuff. I always just kind of kind of take it all in, and it's not until I have to like sit down and think about it and say, okay, what the hell is going on here? Why was that specifically mentioned, that I can actually open up and analyze things.
So I know I said that the movie pans into the bowling alley, but it actually doesn't. I was mistaken. It pans into the dude at the supermarket buying half and half for his famous like White Russian. I don't know if you guys have had a White Russian. I like it. It's a pretty good drink.
I
And
have,
he
yeah.
writes like a check for like 69 cents. It's like
Mhm.
dated into the future. It's like, damn, this dude is like mad broke. Writing a check for a single half gallon of half and half, dated for September 11th, like 1993 or something like that. Or no, 1991.
It's crazy that they use that date too. Like this movie was created like what that when it got
Came out
released
in 98.
in 98. So it was like a while back.
Yeah,
And
no,
the,
that was
and
a
the check
mad
date.
coincidence for
Yeah.
sure. And I think it's funny too, like when he goes to check out, he has like he like tried the half and half, like he has a little bit of it on his
Milk mustache.
oh, that's a milk mustache. Like, damn, dude. Like, I've never personally just drank half and half like that, but you know, to each their own.
That would probably make me explode. I can't handle milk like that.
All right, if we get to the dude's apartment, right? He has a cool little pad, man. It's a nice little like one bedroom he's got going on. But then he gets grabbed by the goons that we later find out are working for Jackie Treehorn, and they grabbed the fucking dude, and they fucking give him a swirly. Fucking his half and half gets fucking taken. Dude, what was the henchman's name? Was it Chang? The Asian guy.
I don't remember.
He just
I
pisses
think
all over his
it's
rug.
Woo.
Woo.
Ooh,
Woo. Damn,
Yeah.
don't be racist, bro.
I know, dude. Don't be
Chang?
racist.
Damn.
His name was Shumai.
Mm.
Nope. Nope.
Woo. So Woo pisses all over his rug. And then that's where you get the one of my favorite scenes. So they're asking where the money is. They're fucking giving him the swirly. And they're like, your fucking wife, Bunny, owes money all over town. Where's the fucking money? Lebowski's like, look fucking around, dude. Does it look like a fucking woman lives here, dude? Do I look like married to you? These fucking dumbasses. Or like how after he breaks it down, he's like, you got the wrong guy. And they're like, fuck you, asshole. And they leave. It's like, dude, you guys are the one that came and fucked up his spot.
Yeah, I wrote that down too, that they get angry when they realize that they have the wrong guy.
Well, I mean, they fucked up.
They fucked up big time.
How are you gonna get angry though at the dude that you're giving a swirly to?
How are you gonna
How dare you waste my time and let me give you a swirly?
like think you're gonna go and like get shake down a millionaire, and then you show up at like it's like a complex of like single story like apartments, or I don't know what those types of dwellings are called. I don't know if they're technically apartments.
Yeah, I don't know.
In this economy,
It's just a complex. Yeah.
It's like, dude, this obviously no fucking millionaire lives in this spot. And then after he gets the shit kicked out of him, then we end up at the bowling alley and we're introduced to the rest of his group. So we're introduced to Walter, and we're introduced to Donnie.
Mhm.
Did you mention about Wu peeing on his rug?
Yeah, Rupee's on
Okay.
his rug.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
kind of
pretty
point.
big part.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the crux of what kind of kicks off all the craziness that happens.
That rug really brought everything together.
And it tied the room together.
The rug
did.
tied the room together. I like when he's telling Walter and Donnie. It opens up with Donnie bowling a strike, and he's like, "Mark it, dude." And he's like, Walter's like, "We gotta draw a line in the sand, dude. Like, where's it gonna end? You said it yourself, dude. Fucking the rug brought the room together." And Donnie's like, "What rug?" He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of your element." And Walter just shits on fucking Donnie the whole movie, dude.
All the time.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
Walter's I think he's a Vietnam vet, and so he always somehow tries to bring in that he's a vet and that what he's doing is he's doing for Vietnam. And so he's just so angry throughout the whole fucking movie, like so quick to just pop off that I really think he's the one who kind of drives this whole like narrative in a way. Like he's one of the main, he's the person who ignites the fire. Because I don't think the dude would have done anything if Walter hadn't set it all up.
Yeah, that's true. Because Walter was like, the real problem is this other Lebowski. Like that's who you have to go after. And yeah, he kind of like planted that seed in the dude's brain, which, you know, made him look into this other Lebowski.
Yeah, because the dude's like got that like fuck it attitude, you know? He's like the
Yeah.
stoner guy. He's like, oh fuck it, like it happened, whatever. And then Walter's very much like a man of action. And that's what he's always bringing up. He's like, my brothers didn't die face down in the mud for some fucking guy to come and piss on your rug. He's like, you said it yourself, dude. Like, it's Lebowski guy. His wife owes money all over town. You know, he owes you a rug. I like when Lebowski's like, yeah, the Chinaman pissed on the rug. He's like, dude, don't say that anymore. It's, does he say? It's like,
Asian American.
yeah, Asian American.
Yeah. He tries to correct him, and then he
says,
and then he goes right back into it and says that again.
That shit's funny. And then Donnie's just like oblivious. I feel like this whole movie, Donnie's just like, he's always coming in like into like half a conversation, and he's like never has a full grasp of like what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like mad oblivious.
He's just living his life. He just wants to bowl.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do. I
Yeah.
wrote down that they treat Donnie like kind of like Meg from Family Guy throughout the whole movie. They just shit on him the whole time, and he's like genuinely trying to like be a part of the conversation and like trying to give his input, but the dude just doesn't listen to him, and then Walter just shuts him down every time. He's always in the background. He's, you know, always sitting behind them, always walking behind them. Yeah, poor Donnie. He just seems like a cool guy.
I know they don't touch on it in the movie, and this could just be like my headcanon, but it seems like Walter and the dude have like known each other for like a long time.
Does it? I mean, I feel like bowling kind of brought them together.
Yeah,
because they're kind of like a I don't know. It doesn't seem like they would be friends otherwise, because the dude is the dude and Walter's fucking unhinged Vietnam vet. Like,
yeah,
how else would they have met?
They are very like polar opposites. But I don't know that I don't know. I guess it's a good question. Well, it could have been that Walter was different before he went to Nam.
True.
Maybe.
Or because I mean, bowling plays a huge part in this movie, so like I can see how like that being the thing that brought them together in the first place. I mean, it doesn't really kind of tell us how they met, but it definitely seems like bowling was the reason.
I do think Walter suffers from PTSD. I mean, you could just tell through all the stuff that he goes through. So he was I don't know if he was different before Vietnam, but I think coming back, he suffering like all this other stuff. So I think maybe just he and the dude are just more conversation people. I mean, there's like always that one friend who's just like a little bit more quiet than everybody else. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I guess
just
that's
that,
true.
Sometimes the louder people can just control the conversation.
Yeah, Walter's very loud.
Yeah.
And then after that, they have their little convo, and Walter boosts up the dude and gets them all ready to go, ready for action. And then we meet the Lebowski, the Big Lebowski, and we're introduced to his assistant Brant, the ultimate kiss ass, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I like how he's showing him like all his accomplishments, and he like his little Lebowski achievers, like, or the urban youths.
Yeah.
And I like how he's just like, oh, they're like interracial. He's like, oh, those aren't his kids. He's like, oh, okay, well, far out, man, far out.
Yeah.
And he's just always fucking faded.
And the dude is like, he said something like, you have is he? Do you have room for one more? Like,
Yeah,
basically, can he adopt me too?
he's fucking funny, dude. And then I like how I heard that he asked the Coens, Jeff Bridges did. He asked him, he's like, hey, so did Lebowski smoke one before he got to this? And if they told him, yeah, he would like rub his eyes with his knuckles to get his eyes all red. So
Hmm.
then like you could like in certain scenes he comes in like being all fucking faded looking.
Nice.
And I just gotta say this, man. Philip Seymour Hoffman did a great job in this role. He was like very animated with his facial expressions throughout the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brad's good. Like especially when he's with Lebowski and
Mhm.
Lebowski will say something and they'll be like, we did not receive the money, dude. Like when he's like bouncing off him.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good in this. I think most of the performances are pretty good.
Yeah, and Philip Seymour Hoffman in general is just he's such a great actor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
He was for sure. And then we meet the Big Lebowski, and I think it's funny. I think this is where I guess because I was paying attention to trying to my best to pay attention to the whole like Gulf War backdrop, the whole like political angle that the movie was trying to portray. And I think it's funny, like when we meet the Big Lebowski and the dude's kind of like explaining, like, oh yeah, this is what happened. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm aware. You told Brant told me, what do you want? And then like the dude's trying to say, like, well, I mean, you're kind of fucked up because of you. My shit got messed up. And he's like I said, you told Brant told me. Like, what are you trying to get at? Like, what are you looking at? You looking out for a handout? He starts calling him like a fucking loser, and he goes off in his case. And I feel like it's very different from the man that Brant tried to portray with all those accomplishments. So when
Mhm.
Lebowski starts talking to them, and he just turns out to be like another rich asshole, pull yourself up by your like bootstraps kind of dickhead. Instead of being like this like charitable like philanthropist that he likes to like show himself to be.
Yeah, I kind of caught that when Brant is showing him the key to the city of Pasadena. He says in the very beginning, he was like, "This is the key to to the city of Pasadena that Mr. Lebowski got due to various civic." And then he just switches and goes to like a completely different story. Like you can kind of tell there, it was just kind of like the Big Lebowski is just kind of all about bullshit. And then you meet him, and I wrote that down too. Sunglasses go on while the Big Lebowski is telling a story of picking himself up by her bootstraps.
Yeah, he's an asshole for sure.
He's a boomer.
Yeah.
He's a boomer.
Oh, he is a boomer.
I like how after that whole thing, Brant's like, so how'd it go, dude? He's like, oh, it was cool. Guy said I could take any rug in the house. I was like, hell yeah, dude. He like
I
let
would
him
think that
just
too.
because like the dude is kind of like I guess like your first impression is like, oh, he's the stoner guy, right? But like he's like pretty smart. So he's like, oh, okay, this dude's just gonna shit on me. That's cool. And he's like, instead of him being like, oh man, well fuck that guy, he's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna take this nice fucking Persian rug. And then we see him just laying on the floor, right, listening to the.
Well, he's getting the rug, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is kind of escorting him out, and that's when we get introduced to Bunny.
Oh, that's right.
Painting her toenails.
That's right.
And her feet become, or her toes, I should say, become a pretty, I guess, important part. No, not really, but they make sure to introduce us to her toenails.
That's right. The green nail polish.
Yeah, telling the dude to blow on them.
Yeah,
And
bro.
then
She's a free spirit, that one.
She's something. She's definitely got escort vibes, kind of like True Romance. I mean, she straight up offers the dude a blowjob for $1,000.
And then she's like, but Brant can't watch us. It's next show. What'd you say, like 200?
100.
Extra 100?
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you guys caught it when he was laughing, his nostrils were
flaring.
Yeah, flaring. It was pretty funny.
I was like, that when I saw that, I was like, damn, can Philip Seymour Hoffman just like do that like on point? Like that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you also get
funny.
introduced to the nihilist friend who's laying in the pool.
Oh, that's
fucked
right.
up.
Yeah.
The floating like champagne.
Yeah.
Damn. That just clicked right now. That is that same guy. Wow.
Yeah, that's the main nihilist guy.
The dude was kind of in that beginning, like the intro when you get introduced to Bunny. The dude definitely does like a kind of like a creeper move. Like he just kind of walks over and stands in front of Bunny, just like waiting for Bunny to look up at him. Like, bro, leave her
The-
alone.
The
He's
dude
trying,
abides.
trying to get some. He's a dude.
Yeah, the dude has like, he's not coy. That dude's like, he's the dude, man. He just goes with the flow. The flow took him to Bunny, I guess.
Yeah, and then
It could also be too like he knows that like Bunny is at like the crux, so he sees like this hot chick, and he's like, oh, is this the chick? Is this chick's the reason that like fucking Red got peed on? Like, let me take a look at her.
true.
And then like she very much is like, yeah, I'll suck your dick, and he's like, yeah, this is a chick that owes money all over town for sure.
Yeah. Then we get to the scene of him laying on the rug, right? And then is he listening to the answering
No.
machine?
No,
it goes back
no,
to
that
the
happened.
bowling alley.
Goes back to the bowling alley. That's where
No.
he's where Walter pulls the ultimate psycho, and they have their league game. Smokey's foot's over the line, and he's like,
Mhm.
It's over the line, Smokey." He's like, "Bullshit, Walter, that was good." He's like, "It's over the line, Smokey." He's like, "Mark it, dude." He's like, "Nah, fuck that, man." And that's when he pulls out the piece.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is nobody give a fuck about the rules?" And he starts like freaking the fuck out. He pulls a fucking piece on Smokey. That's when he starts like gives like his whole rant about like Vietnam again.
There was so many different references in that conversation. Like in the very beginning, Donnie, I think he hits a strike, and then he looks over at the team that they're going up against, and he's like, "You're dead in the water." And then Walter walks up, and he's stating Theodore Herzl and like the state of Israel.
Yeah.
I didn't understand like any of that was going on. But I like somehow like that does that tie into everything? Like what did you catch any of that?
Yeah, because Walter's like in the Walter like does a lot of like political or like commentary. Like he'll like constantly says like, yeah, the problems they're having with that camel fucker. And he's like talking about like Saddam. So I think that's tied into the Gulf War, because Walter brings up the Gulf War multiple times throughout the film, like in passing. So I think the state of Israel and all that shit is tied into like what's going on in the Middle East.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
and then
Walter's whole thing is that like society's falling apart, like post Nam. Like he's like, no, he's a big stickler for the rules. Like he's like, people are always trying to like fuck you over. Like he's like big time like conservative guy. Like I think he views like society as like it's kind of like it's losing it a little bit. In reality, he's fucking losing it.
yeah, because he was so fast to pull out a gun and point because of this, just because of the league rules. And then they have a conversation in the car after. I think the dude and Walter walk out and they go sit in the car, and then they start talking about pacifists and how, I don't know, was it because of pacifists that was why they lost Nam or something like that?
Yeah. And that's when they have a conversation. Because he links that to like what's going on in
Currently.
the Persian, currently. And he's like, yeah, so we're gonna like kick this dude's ass.
Hmm.
And then I think it's funny, like, then you see the cops roll in, and I was like, he pulls a piece, then they finish their game, leave, and then the cops show up. Like, that's hilarious. Like, which part of the hood is this fucking bowling alley? Because the cops show up mad late. Like, they're like, someone pulls a gun and like they show up. And then the fact that they keep going to that bowling alley, like nobody gives a fuck that Walter like pulled a gun on a guy and they still let him bowl there.
It was timed kind of perfectly too. Like they walk out and they get in the car right at the same time when the cops pull up and walk inside of the bowling alley.
Yeah, Walter's so like nonchalant about what's going on.
Well, I mean, if it's permitted, well, and also, it shows him like dismantle the gun right after he pulled it out.
Yeah,
I don't know if that plays any significance to anything,
maybe.
but like he's aware that, you know, obviously that the cops are going to come, and maybe by dismantling the gun, it's like, oh well, and I how could I have pulled it out? It's not even put together.
And then when he was putting it together, just like, I mean, he was over the line. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Like, he's just like, all like, whatever's about it. And then after that scene, that's when we find out that Bunny's been kidnapped, right?
Yeah, the dude
That's when he gets home and you hear all the
voicemails.
voicemails.
Yeah. And then we get in, and then he goes back to the Big Lebowski's house, and it's all dramatic, lit by candles and fire, and
He's all
there's
sad as
classical
fuck.
music going on.
Dude,
and he's
yeah.
staring into the fire.
I fucking wrote that down. I said Mr. Lebowski was dramatic when telling the dude about Bunny. Like Philip Seymour Hoffman's like door opening scene and
That
door
was
closing
funny.
scene.
So exaggerated.
And Big Lebowski says, "Strong men also cry." And you look back and you see Brant, and Brant is basically crying.
Yeah, but then he snaps out of it right away when he hands him the ransom note.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman, man. He's fantastic in this movie.
It was. And I feel like Brant as a character, like his role is to be whatever the Lebowski needs him to be at that moment. So he's like, oh, we're crying right now. Okay, I could do that. Cool. Time to get serious. No longer crying. He's
Yeah.
like a robot, that guy.
The ultimate yes man.
He is the ultimate yes man, for sure. He's the perfect assistant. And then that's what they give him the proposition, right? They're like, all right, cool. This is gonna happen. Like, we need him to do he needs to do the drop. That's when they kind of give him the whole breakdown. And then
Yeah.
and then he's like, then he'll get what, 10%? So they're gonna give him like $100,000 of
Yeah.
$1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, cool. Oh no, they're gonna pay him 20 grand. Yeah, they're gonna pay him 20.
Yeah. That was another deal.
Was gonna give him 10%.
Yeah,
That's later.
Future plan.
And then they end up back at the bowling alley.
Always.
Yeah. Always got to go back to the bowling alley.
And he's telling Walter, and he's like, man, she probably fucking kidnapped herself, man. And he's like, you're fucking right, dude. That's exactly what happened.
Dude, like super just floats that idea by, and Walter just immediately
Like,
believes
runs
him.
with it.
Yeah. And then we get introduced to
Jesus?
to one of the funnier characters.
The way I wrote it down in my notes is I put the fucking Jesus.
Yeah, the introduction to the Jesus was badass. The soundtrack was great. It was Hotel California in Spanish.
Yeah, that shit was
It was
hilarious.
awesome. I also like how they make him out to be this fucking like this badass of bowling, and then the very next conversation is Walter talking about how he's a sex offender.
Yeah, he's like a fucking pedo, dude.
Yeah,
Fucking
he's
8-year-olds.
fucking 8-year-olds, dude.
Was that like a real, do you think that really happened, or do you think Walter is just saying that because of the
His
way
dislike for him,
like of the dislike of like Jesus? Because I think Walter is one of those narrators that you can't trust, because he's so quick to just violence and anger that could potentially be like a lie. Because I mean, it's told from his point of view, right? Like, we don't know anything else other than what Walter's telling us.
But at the same time, Walter also has like access to things, and he proves that later in the movie when that like a normal person just wouldn't easily have access to. So I think him knowing that the Jesus is a sex offender is plausible. And he's like a shoot it straight kind of guy.
Yeah, and
like
I also feel
to
like
a fault. Like, to a fault, he's a shoot it straight kind of guy.
Walter is the type of guy to do research on the people that he associates with.
Yeah, that's true. I like how he quotes Lenin, and then Donnie comes up. He's like, John Lennon? And Walter's like, Vladimir, shut on Lennon. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Donnie just says, I am the walrus.
He's like, I'm the walrus, dude.
I'm the walrus.
He's just saying in the background while they're having this conversation about Leninism.
I am the walrus.
Fucking fucking Donnie, dude. And then Walter just starts talking about Nam. Fucking the dude. What the fuck does that have to do with Nam, Walter? Oh man. I thought it was pretty interesting how Walter's quick to confrontation, but when the Jesus comes up to them and he's like talking all this shit, he's gonna like fuck him. He's gonna fuck him in the ass, and if he's like tries to pull a gun on them, he's gonna grab it, stick it up their ass, and pull the trigger till it goes click. But Walter just doesn't. He doesn't like get in the Jesus' face. He just sits there and just stares at him, and then he walks away, and he's like, "Fucking 8-year-olds, dude." I would think a guy like that he thinks is like a pedo, like Walter would have been quick to like want to fight. But I don't know. I guess he's a little bit more calculated than that.
That is pretty interesting. That I mean, he even later on he has like a confrontation that causes like a main thing to happen. But this one interaction with Jesus, he doesn't really, or I think in the future too, he doesn't really interact with Jesus too much. He just kind of sits there and observes him.
Yeah, he's a weirdo too, and he licks the bowling ball.
Well, he keeps it clean.
He does.
I mean, man. Oh yeah, when he's like rubbing it.
Yeah.
I thought was it John Turturro was great as the Jesus. The Jesus was funny.
Yeah. He's not in the movie too much, but
he's
when
memorable.
He definitely takes the scene.
Definitely, yeah. All right, and then we end up with the scene at Walter laying on the rug, and I think it's hilarious. He's listening to like a bowling match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used
that
to
brings
like
him peace.
Back in the day. I used to listen to like like sports on the radio, like if I didn't have access to the TV. But damn, listening to a bowling game, like it's not like it's just like strikes, and it was said like the 1984 like World Championship.
Oh,
there's like no commentary either. It's literally just balls rolling, strike.
He's just smiling like
Correct.
He's like in his Zen mode.
That's what brings him peace, dude. He probably falls asleep to that. I fall asleep with rain. I have a sound machine.
Yeah, I mean it just shows, how much he really enjoys bowling and how much of an influence it has on his life. I mean, he's always thinking about it. He's always at the bowling alley. He's even dreaming about it. I mean, he's listening to strikes as his white noise. I mean,
Yeah, true. He's a big time bowler.
The guy's all about bowling.
Bowl is life.
Bowl is life.
And then this is the next tragedy. I think the second tragedy of this movie. The first losing his rug the first time, and then he gets knocked the fuck out, wakes up, and his new Persian rug is gone.
Gone.
And that was a nice ass rug.
He has another like, or he has a dream, right? When he gets knocked out.
Crazy dream sequence where he's like flying throughout LA.
As a ball, right?
Is he a ball in that one? He's holding a bowling ball.
Oh, I think I'm thinking he gets knocked out so many times, and each time he gets knocked out, he has like a different like dream or vision.
Yeah, isn't this one where it kind of turns into almost like a play?
No, that's later.
No, that's the second one. That's when he's drugged. No, this one he's just like,
that's right.
And he's all like euphoric, and then like he goes like he dips down, like he goes straight, and he just takes a quick sharp plunge down, and then he like wakes up, and then he meets up with Walter, and they're gonna make the drop, and then Walter just comes looking like a maniac in like an overall suit, or he looks like a mechanic, like in one of those suits, and like a bandana on, and he's carrying like something duct taped, a package, and the ringer is like, "Daddy, my dirty undies, dude, the whites." I love this whole scene.
Yeah, he gets the phone call, right, from the Big Lebowski, and no, from Brant, and he says her life is in your hands, and it just like, I don't know, I guess it makes it real for the dude, and he's just like, fuck, this, why'd you have to say that?
Yeah, it's repeated like 3 times, like her life is in your hands, dude. Her life is in your hands. Her life is in your hands. And the dude ends up repeating that to Walter later on. I think once he realizes that Walter wants to
But I like when Branson hands him the suitcase, he like looks him in the eyes and he's like, "Their life is in your hands, dude."
yeah.
You gotta imagine the dude's probably stoned. He's had a couple fucking White Russians at this point. Like he's not in the mindset to have somebody's life in his hands right now.
Yeah, true.
Like if you've ever been super faded and then gotten bad news, you're just like, I am way too fucking high for this right now. All right. So then after that, the dude's all right, fuck it. Then he meets up with Walter. He comes with his package. Walter looks like he's fucking back in the jungles in Nam. He's ready to go. He's got the undies. He's got the ringer. And then that's when they get the phone call where to do the drop, right?
The
So
dude almost messes that up because
he says we.
The dude says we, and then the kidnappers are like, "What do you mean we?" And then
He's
Walter
like,
just starts going off.
Man.
Yeah.
You didn't think I was gonna drive and throw it at the same time. And then Walter's like, plan. He's like, all right, we're gonna go. I'm gonna hop out, and then I'm gonna flank him. and he's like, it's perfect in its simplicity, dude.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of him.
Like,
and we're gonna take the money. Fucking Walter, man. I put down Walter's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Because after that, right? So they tell him to throw the fucking suitcase over the bridge, and he ends up throwing his own suitcase, and then he does the funniest thing in the movie where he jumps out of the car. He jumps out of the moving car with his Uzi. He rolls, he drops the gun goes off, fucking shoots the car, blasts the tire blows out, and then the car crashes. Like, this dude thought he was gonna do the most badass thing ever, and it just failed, like, miserably.
And I like how before that, he's the nihilists are like, all right, throw the ringer over the bridge. And Walter's like, we can't do that, dude. That fucks with our plan. And he's like, all right. He's like, I'm gonna jump out now. The Uzi. And he's like, the Uzi? He's like, you didn't think it came empty-handed. You're like, there's a fucking Uzi in that wrapping that you brought? And then he just jumps up. He just fucks it up immediately. It just goes bad immediately.
Oh man, yeah, that scene was great. I was dying. How was that scene for you over there off of the 3 shots of St. Ides?
That was hilarious and frustrating because it seems like Walter really had this whole plan that was going to happen and just immediately just gets dominated by the nihilists. And then jumping out, he tells the dude, when the car gets to 15 miles an hour, I'm gonna hop out. So he starts slowing it down. The dude's freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on. And then Walter he just wrecks the whole plan.
He's a fucking idiot, dude. And the best part is like he's so self-assured. And then all that happens. And they're like, the dude's freaking out. He's like, her life was in my hands, Walter. Her life was in my hands. And he's like trying to run. He's like, I got the money. And then all that happens and Walter's like limping. He's like, I don't know, fuck it, dude. Let's go bowl.
Yep. and they go bowl. They go right back to bowling.
Bowl is life.
That shit was hilarious. And then that's and it's funny too because they go bowl and they're just kind of going over the plan, and the phone that they gave the dude is just like being off the hook, and he just like refuses to answer, and everyone's just staring at him like, why aren't you answering that? And then they're like like the dude's all concerned, and then Donnie's like, oh, they put out who we're playing, and then Walter like immediately stops giving a fuck. And he's like, oh, who are we playing? And then they're like, oh, we're playing so-and-so on Saturday. He's like, I told that asshole in the league office, I don't roll on Saturdays. And you find out that Walter's Jewish.
By marriage.
Yeah, he's Jewish by marriage because it's what is
Shomer
it?
Shamus.
Yeah, Shomer Shamus, which I guess is like the day of the Sabbath, but for Jewish people. That shit was funny. His ability to like his cognitive dissonance, just like to go from like being invested in what the dude's going on to like not giving a fuck like at all.
I don't think he was even really invested in it. He was real casual about it. He was like, well, fuck it. We have the money. That's it. We're good.
The plan was to like take the money because they're like, oh, Bunny kidnapped herself.
Yeah.
All right. And then after that, that's when we get introduced to to Maud.
No, they
Well-
have a dude, where's my car moment.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's right. His car gets kidnapped
Yeah.
gets stolen.
Somebody kidnapped my car.
Kidnapped my car. Put out an APB. Amber alert.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think-
I thought that part was pretty cool. You know, shout out, dude, where's my car? It was a great movie.
Did that come out? That came out after, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it came out in like 01.
it was based off of that line.
That
Dude, where's my
line,
car?
that one line.
Where's your
Nice.
car, dude?
And then he reports it to the cops, and the cops show up at his house, I think, right?
Oh
And they're
yeah.
asking him like,
Yeah.
what do you do? I'm unemployed, but business papers were in the car.
Yeah, he's like, he's got my briefcase. He's like, well, it was in the. He's like, oh, I got a cassette deck, some Credence. He's like, I got some briefcase. That goes in the briefcase, and he like leans back on his lazy boy, like he reclines it. He's got papers and there's various papers and things. And he's like, oh, and someone stole my rug. Like, you had a rug in the car? He's like, no, separate incident.
Separate incident. And then the answering machine goes off and it's Maud. And she's like, I have your rug. And the cop's like, oh, I guess we can
Close the
close
case
the
on
book-
that
yeah,
one.
close the case on that one.
I love how like not serious the cops take the dude.
Well, there's two cops there, and one of them who's interviewing him is doing the interview, and the second one is like looking around, and then he picks up he's like something on the table, and he turns it over, and you can see that it's a piece to like smoke weed out of, and like all of dude's weed is just chilling right there in front of these cops. They're just kind of looking at everything.
The dude just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's the dude.
That's right. Then then he goes and he meets Maud, and she's doing that like painting where she flies in.
She's naked, right? Or oh no,
Yeah,
she's wearing,
she
she's
is.
wearing
She's naked.
underwear.
Yeah, I
And
wrote pointy nips.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore has some pointy nipples,
Oh man. Nice.
and then she has that whole that like conversation with them. And he's like, "Oh, what are you painting?" It's like, "It's the woman form. Some men get uncomfortable around the word vagina." And he's like, "Oh no, it's cool, man." And she asks him if he enjoys sex. I like how he immediately just goes to her bar and makes himself a drink. Like he was not invited to do that.
I think he does that in every place that he goes to. He gets a drink, except for Big Lebowski's house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he always makes himself a white Russian, or he always calls it in the movie he calls it a Caucasian.
Yeah, Caucasian. Yeah,
Yeah, and
That's
then
just- half and half. I think vodka.
yeah,
It sounds like a tummy ache.
We're good with a little Kahlua. They're good. They're really good.
I remember old roommate. He after watching this movie, he was really into white Russians at one point in time. He was like, we always had half and half in our fridge. That was his like go-to drink for a minute. That's the only time I've ever tried one was made by him.
I got really into White Russians over the summer. I still have Kahlua.
Oh, nice.
But then I found out there's like 28
Yeah.
grams of sugar per White Russian. I was like, oh, I can't drink.
That's not a summer drink. This dude's
know.
over here pounding white Russians in the summer
on-
heat.
On ice, it's like almost like an horchata.
I don't know.
I mean, it is milky. Milk was a bad choice.
Oh man. I think because I was a little not a little pretty elevated watching this movie, I was pretty hung up on the porn star names.
Oh, those are funny.
Did you guys catch those names? We had so it was during the conversation that Maud was having with the dude, and she's basically telling him about the type of person that Bunny is, and she puts on the porn, and that's where we find out that she's a porn star. But she was starring in this movie alongside Carl Hungus
I
and
remember that one.
Log Jammin'.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Log jamming. I guess the chick who's also in that scene is an actual porn star.
Yeah.
And then
Little
And that's,
Easter
where,
egg.
and that's where we see that I think it's Carl Hungus
Carl. Yeah.
is the guy who was in the pool.
The
Yeah.
nihilist.
Yeah, because
He's a
he's like, I
nihilist.
know that guy. It's the nihilist.
And then Maud asks the dude, he's like, "Do you know what happens next?" And he says, "He fixes the cable." Talking about the I guess the the plot of the porn itself. It's like a cable guy coming to
Fix the cable.
That's
fix
what
the
I love
cable.
about the dude. He's like so sarcastic with his humor.
Yeah.
He's quippy. He's quick with those. And then that's where Maud tells him she like kind of she. That's when we find out that the Big Lebowski is completely full of shit. Because then that's when Maud says like, oh, like my father doesn't have any money. It was my mom's money, and we just like give him an allowance, and we let him run like we let him run like some of the nonprofit aspects of the business, like the Lebowski inner city little achievers and all that shit. And it's like this whole speech about picking yourself up from your bootstraps. Now him losing his legs in Korea didn't stop him from making himself like a successful businessman is all bullshit. He didn't earn shit. He got his money through his wife. I thought that was funny because I feel like going back to like the political aspect that comes around in this movie, like Lebowski is very much like one of those like rich people who didn't earn shit but make it seem like they work harder than everyone else. Like one of those Reaganomics assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was like, oh, okay, I can now I could see kind of like the political overtones because I was looking out for him. And then Maud's kind of like this artsy fartsy left wing rich person who's like super socially awkward. Like especially when she's talking about like, oh yeah, like I'll give you 10% if you find the money, or whatever you call it, clams, or like all the different like outdated terms for money. And I'm like, who is this person? Like, does she just like spend half her day at the Mecca? Like, who talks like that?
That's just some rich girl.
Not the Mecca, the Met Gala.
Real disconnected to
Yeah, she's real
the normal.
I feel like they're both good stereotypes of the left and the right, like millionaires. And then that's when we find out the dude's like, all right, cool, like, yeah, sure, I'll get the money. Because then he talks to Walter. He's like, we'll give her the money, we get 100 grand, but we got to find the car first because he lost the money. And then fucking is this when he gets kidnapped by Big Lebowski? They throw him into the limo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I like that's when Brad's just like he's just parroting everything that the Big Lebowski says.
I think the dude says new things have come to light, which is like he repeats the line that he hears from I think like a news broadcast that's played at some point in time elsewhere. Like the dude just kind of repeats things that he hears, and he kind of rambles in this like period for like I think like a cool like minute and a half. He's just kind of rambling, not really saying anything. And the Big Lebowski's like, "What the hell are you rambling about?" And then
what are you talking about, dude?
And then the dude finally shares his theory of, well, she kidnapped herself. And then
he's like, did that not occur to you? That did not occur to us, dude.
Yeah. And then
that was funny.
And then they give him a little package, and as the dude's unwrapping it, you see what it actually is, which is the toe.
That's the toe
with the green nail polish.
Oh, and the thing he said about how he just regurgitates stuff that he sees on the TV. He says he does the exact same thing when he's trying to get his rug back from Big Lebowski earlier in the movie. I think he hears Bush say that like we will not abide, or like this aggression or something like that.
Yeah, this aggression will not stand.
That's when he says it for the first time. But yeah, the dude's hilarious, man. The way he just because he seems like he's not paying attention, but he's just like kind of absorbing everything around him.
Yeah.
And this is why I say like Walter can do shit. So the first, because he goes to Walter, they're like having breakfast. He shows him the toe. Walter's like, I don't see what the big deal is, dude. He's like, to cut her fucking toe off, Walter. He's like, I can get you a toe. I can get you a toe by 3:00. You
want a toe? I can get you a toe.
These fucking amateurs.
He's like, he's just laughing about it. Fucking amateurs, dude.
He's getting all riled up in the coffee shop, so much so that like the waitress is like, "You got to calm down."
Then he starts bringing up Nam again.
Yeah, he starts bringing up Nam, and he just starts getting even more worked up. And then he's like, "I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my coffee."
I'm not going anywhere.
And
And
he
everyone's just staring
slams
at
the
him.
table one more time.
Like, what an asshole. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Walter could have known about Jesus being a pedo because he gets an Uzi, which is that's got to be like, you got to know someone in order to get an Uzi. You can't just buy an Uzi at like a gun store.
Yeah.
And then he gets, and he's like, I can get you a tow. So, like, Walter knows people and he has his own security company. So he must have connections because you later see like his van. It says, like his last name is like Shozak Security.
Oh,
Forgot about that.
didn't catch that.
And he's a veteran. So
Yeah.
all my veteran homies have like mad weapons.
Yeah, and
And
then
then, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna talk about, I guess, the next scene.
Take us to it.
Yeah, so it's the dude, right? He's back at his house. He's taking a bath, and then is that the nihilists come in?
Yeah, and he's smoking the roach clip. So
Yeah, he's smoking the roach, and he's like, "Nice marmot."
The nihilist guy.
and then they throw it into the bathtub with him, and he just starts freaking out, and the ferret starts freaking out. Yeah, that was another hilarious scene.
That shit was funny. The dude needs to learn to like lock his door.
I think
It's true.
I think they broke in his door. I think you hear like a crash, and then the nihilists are inside.
Did they break in? Because his door opens outward, not inwards, which is weird. I feel like most doors open inwards. Like when you're going
Yeah.
into a house, they
Yeah,
open
yeah.
inwards, but the dude's opens outwards.
It's a backwards door. Is that
Yeah, it
that
is
a symbol for
backwards.
something?
I don't know because it comes into play later when he tries to like secure it.
I think because of this, he tries to secure his door.
And they come, they threaten him, and they're like, "Well, cut off your Johnson." And that's where we see Flea for the first time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Flea's part of the nihilist.
That's so funny, dude. I
That
didn't
poor-
recognize him out of all the times I've seen this movie, and then I saw like his name on the title card. I'm like, holy shit, that was Flea.
That poor was it a ferret? Marmot? Ferret?
Yeah, the
Is
marmot.
a ferret a marmot?
It's a ferret.
That poor ferret, dude. Why did they just toss him into a bathtub like that?
Because they're dickheads.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it could swim though, but and then so there's like so many players at this point, right? We have Mod, we have the Treehorn guys because they're originally looking for Bunny. We got the Big Lebowski, and now we have the Nihilist, and the dude's in the center of all of it,
Yeah,
and they all want a piece of the money.
I think after this he goes back to the bowling alley, and I think he's telling Walter and Donnie about this, and then Walter like struggles to say that marmots aren't legal.
He gets his car first, doesn't he? And then he shows Walter about how what happened to him, and then that they found the note in his car.
the graded paper.
Yeah, the graded paper. I like how when he gets his car back, they're like, "Hey, at least he didn't take your Credence."
Yeah.
And he's just bumping Credence the whole time. I didn't realize that until yeah, whenever he's driving, he's playing Credence. That's because he's got a tape deck with fucking a bunch of Credence tapes in it. For those of you who don't know, Credence Clearwater Revival is a band from the 70s. Very good, one of my favorites. And then isn't that when he gets to the he gets back to the bar and he's talking to the stranger?
Yeah,
And the stranger tells him, sometimes you eat the bar and sometimes the bar eats you.
Is the stranger a real person, or is the stranger like
God or something? I don't know.
part of the dude's subconscious? Because there's no like sound when the stranger walks up to the bar. Like the dude is just chilling there drinking his drink, and then looks over, and the stranger's just suddenly sitting next to him.
Well,
maybe.
the stranger is acknowledged by the bartender because remember he orders a sarsaparilla.
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 Have either of you guys ever had sarsaparilla?
I don't even know what a
what is
sarsaparilla is.
It's It's kind of like a Dr. Pepper.
It's like a Dr. Pip or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's got a
Good.
unique flavor. It's all right.
Is it like kind of like a licoricey flavor?
Yeah, syrupy.
Interesting. Seems like one of those like old timey sodas.
Yeah.
It's got a cool name, sarsaparilla.
So, yeah, it's a plant. It's a tropical plant. They make this soda with.
Sarsaparilla.
Yeah, it says here used throughout history to treat conditions like arthritis, psoriasis, and syphilis.
Oh shit. Interesting. Mad old timey.
Yeah.
And then doesn't the dude go back to mods?
He does go back to mod.
And that's where that dude's just like sitting on the couch, like laughing on the phone, just like being real creepy.
Yeah. I think that's the guy from Harry Potter, right? He's Professor Lupus, the guy who turned into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I haven't seen Harry Potter in so long. I think I've seen each movie like once. So he goes back to Maud, and then
the dude tells Maud that he thinks Bunny's been kidnapped by Yuli, and then Yuli, you find out that Yuli was connected to Bunny by Maud. And so
that's right. That's right.
so
Then
Maud,
she's laughing. It's saying that most certainly did not happen.
yeah.
And then she's like, look, and then it's she's like shows like that they were like in a random like techno
Like
group or something like that.
An electro band, yeah.
An electro band, yeah.
Yeah. And then
it's
Maud,
literally all three nihilists.
yeah, all three nihilists just standing there on a old record, and then Maud reminds the dude to go visit the doctor for like a checkup because she doesn't want any type of like residual.
That's right. That's right. And he's like, no, I'm good. She's like, see him. He's very thorough.
Yeah.
And then that's when he gets a call from Walter after this. And Walter tells him like, hey, we found out who this Larry Sellers kid is. And it's like, dude, his dad wrote 150 episodes of Branded, man. Guy's legit. And he's like, he lives here. And then they go and they visit Larry Sellers' house.
I think they're at a play. They're at like a musical.
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
landlord.
That's right. We didn't mention that. I wrote that down. The dude's a good dude because his landlord tells him that he's like, hey, dude, I finally got the thing book, the theater book. Yeah, for my one man show. And he's like, cool, man, I'll be there. And like he shows up and he's there and he watches. And
all of them. The whole gang is there.
Donnie and Walter. That's cool, man. He brings the whole group. He's like, hey, man, so and so has his play. We got to go show up.
Well, I feel like that's his way of getting away with not paying rent. He's just he befriended the landlord.
Yeah, he's just a good dude.
Yeah,
I gotta befriend my landlord.
Right. That's when he tells him about Larry Sellers, and he's like, he's over in so and so by the In-N-Out Burger. And then Donnie's like, those are some good burgers, dude.
Those are some good burgers.
I like that because that's all Donnie's like. That's all Donnie has to offer the conversation. It's just talking about. And then he'll shut the fuck up, Donnie. Yes. And then we'll get the In-N-Out Burger. That was funny. That dude's show is weird, man.
What play was it?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
It was, I don't know. It was just his own.
He doesn't say like what it is, right? Like it was just a one man show of just him.
Yeah, like he created it, I think.
Hell yeah.
That's cool, man. He's very LA, man.
Yeah.
The dude abides. Then they get to the Sellers kid's house. And then that dude's like in that crazy like
the iron lung.
Iron lung?
Yeah, the iron lung. Man, those shits are crazy looking.
Yeah.
And Walter's like, I love your work, sir. Like, does he still write? Like, no, he doesn't fucking write, you asshole. He's all like in like a capsule.
And then Larry, this like middle schooler, comes in, sits down, and Walter pulls out the homework. Is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework? Larry just keeps repeating it. Wants to know. Was that his homework?
And he's like, look. And the dude's like, look, you little shit. We know that's your homework. Where's the fucking money, dude? Where's my fucking briefcase? And then he's like, all right. Walter's like, all right, we'll do this the hard way. This is what happens when you try to fuck someone in the ass, Larry. When you say you try to fuck a stranger in the ass,
Yeah.
he just starts beating the shit out of the Corvette.
See what happens, Larry?
Screaming.
Oh yeah, we didn't say that because there's like a brand new Corvette parked outside of Larry's house.
Oh yeah, they
So
automatically assume that is Larry's.
They assume that Larry bought it with the money that he stole from the car, and so Walter comes out and just starts demolishing this brand new Corvette.
Just screaming. You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you try to fuck a stranger in the ass? And he just starts beating on it. Oh man.
Yeah, and then we find out it
was not
wasn't Larry's car.
That dude comes out. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing to my baby? I'll kill you.
I just got this car.
You kill my car, I'll kill your car." He starts beating the shit out of the dude's car.
The dude's just standing there like, "No, wait, that's not his car."
Yeah, the dude's car gets destroyed in this movie.
Fucked up.
Yeah, it does.
Still running.
Mm-hmm.
It still runs.
They don't build them like they used to. And then I like how they still, in his busted ass car, they still go and they get in and out.
Yeah, they do.
They're driving around and they're all just eating their In-N-Out burger like in silence. The dude looks all depressed, and Donnie's like in the background, like this is good.
Just munching on a good burger.
I mean, he lived by In-N-Out. It makes sense, especially if there wasn't an In-N-Out by them. It's like, damn.
What kind of orders do you think they each got?
Double with fries.
Yeah,
got the
it
number
seemed
one.
like they kept it simple.
No animal style.
I like the old designs.
Maybe grilled onions
of the cups.
Mm-hmm.
We should bring them back, the little retro cups.
I think they did that because they didn't want to.
Yeah, I don't think they got the rights to In-N-Out, but it looked cool.
Yeah,
they get back, and then he gets is this where he ends up at Jackie Treehorn's?
Yeah. I don't remember how he gets there. Like, how does he know to go there? Oh, because Jackie Treehorn is the producer or the director of the porn, right?
I thought he was picked up in Wasn't he picked up in a limo? Like Jackie Treehorn's goons show up, and he's like, "Jackie Treehorn wants to see you." Wong and that white guy.
Oh yeah, the guy who pees on his rug originally in the very beginning.
Woo.
Yeah, you're
Wong.
right. Woo. Yeah,
Racist.
damn racist, dude.
Racism's
Yeah, so
we'll just refer to him as the Chinaman.
Before that, that's when
Asian American,
that's when we see that the dude is trying to make a door stopper.
Oh, that's right. When he gets the 2x4 and he's like hammering it into the floor, and then he puts the chair. And then we find out that the door opens outward, so it doesn't do anything.
And even the dude is surprised by this. Like he doesn't know how his door functions because the chair falls outside of the house because the door just opens in reverse.
That's what I was like. Yeah, that's what I noticed. I was like, I'm pretty sure like every place I've ever lived in, the door opens inward. I've never had a door that opens outward.
Unless it's like a screen door.
Like a screen door. Yeah.
Yeah, the screen door, but usually the wooden door opens inward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you need them to be opposite, right? Or else they would clash into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then he ends up at Jackie Treehorn's sick ass like beach mansion party. We see the chicks on the trampolines with their tits flying out.
That's like a classic LA house. I saw on Netflix they have that Selling Sunset, like reality TV show, and they go to that specific house, and that's like the person who designed it is just all bomb at designing houses, and like it's a really famous.
It was a cool ass
nice
looking house.
Yeah, it's like a famous home.
Dope.
And when they do the tour of that house actually has like a club that's built into the house. And it's on like the bottom level. So you can throw a whole like club party at your house and then go back up and just sleep.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So then he meets with Jackie, and then Jackie gives him basically the same spew that everyone else does. He's like, "Yeah, dude, like Bunny owes me money. Like I want a cut of the money." And then he's like, "Well, got kidnapped." And no. Then he tells him, right? He's like, "Oh yeah, I know where the money is. Larry Selder has it." Like this, like 15-year-old. And they're like, "Oh, okay." And he's just pounding White Russians.
Yeah.
And then
Jackie Treehorn makes him a White Russian.
Makes him a Caucasian.
Caucasian. Yeah, and then he takes a call, right? And he's like writing on a notepad. We don't know what he's riding, and the dude thinks it's something important, and so Jackie Trehorn ends up leaving, and the dude walks up, and he's like you said earlier, he's pretty smart, so he does the trick with the pencil to like shade in what was previously written, and we find out it was just a dick and balls.
Yeah, that was funny.
Classic.
Oh yeah.
I like how he has enough time to like draw out this picture of like a someone standing there with their dick out, and then he walks away. All that was definitely planned, right?
I think so. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I'm like, why would he write that as like his note? And I couldn't come up with a good enough reason. Like, did he think the dude would try and like copy it? I don't know. Like, I guess he's suspicious of the dude right off the bat, right? Because we find out that like he like drugs him.
I thought it was like a power move, like in The Office, when Michael has somebody come into his office, he would always have Pam walk in and say, "Hey, Michael, you have a really important call," and then Michael will be like, "Oh, okay, thank you. I'm gonna continue talking to my customer," and then he would continue talking to the customer. I took it as like one of those like power move kind of mind play situations where he wanted to make
like he's taking notes, like it's important.
Yeah. And so he had to like walk away and wait to see what the dude was doing. Also, maybe to give the dude enough time to finish his drink so then he can have another drink, so he could really be drugged.
Yeah, because the dude is fucked up.
This is the dream sequence with Maude, and it's like a whole like musical, and then I think you see
it's supposed to be like a porn, and it's called Gutter Balls.
Oh yeah. And then
the dude in Gutter Balls.
And then you see Saddam as the bowling alley.
He's like the shoe
shiner, right?
Yeah. That's when Saddam shows up, I'm like, okay, this is like this is explicitly supposed to be tied to like the politics of the day, because like, why the fuck is Saddam just randomly in this movie?
Yeah.
I don't think I caught that. Maybe I caught it beforehand, because most of the times I've seen this movie, I've been elevated. But seeing it this time, I was like, oh yeah, fuck, because I was looking out for like Gulf War references, and I was like, oh fucking Saddam, like how random. And then we see him. He shows up. He's dressed as what's his name in the other porn movie, as like the
log jammer.
Yeah, as like a maintenance worker, because he's got the tools and he's wearing the exact same like outfit.
Yeah, it ends with Uli and Flea chasing him with some like really big scissors because they're gonna snip his Johnson off.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. It goes
into a nightmare.
Yeah,
like Maude was dressed up as like a Valkyrie almost.
Yeah, dude, all these like dreams, or whenever dude is passed out, they're just so wild.
Yeah, they are. I like how when he bowls and he's going down the lane and like he turns over and he's just like staring up everyone's skirt. That shit was funny. Stuff. Yeah, he's all the dude. And then the nightmare sequence, and then that's when we find out that he got drugged, right? Because he comes to and he's just like running in the middle of the streets like a fucking madman.
Yeah, and then the Malibu cops pick him up.
Yeah, he gets arrested.
I like how his only form of ID is his Ralph's membership card.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I haven't had like an ID card for a supermarket in a long time. Like, I usually just give them my number.
Yeah, I don't think they even give those out anymore. I don't think there's like a
they
scan.
Used to be like credit cards. No, you can scan them because you just scan the barcode. Like if you still have, because I had the one on my key for the longest, and then it finally broke.
Yeah, they don't give them out anymore. It's just like you just enter your number now.
Your number now,
or if you have the app,
apps,
you can
give them
the app. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the barcode on it.
Yeah,
probably saves money on the plastic or something. And the cop's just like a fucking dickhead. Just kicks his ass. He's like, I don't like your face. like, stay the fuck out of my town.
Yeah, and then they get him a cab out of Malibu, and then I think the scene pans over and you see Bunny driving like down the same street with all of her toes.
Singing Viva Las Vegas, but still all her toes.
Yeah.
But
And I like how the
that
cab driver.
one pinky toe doesn't have any paint on it, which was odd.
Oh, interesting. I didn't
It
catch
didn't.
that.
I thought it just didn't like you. It cuts down and you can't really see all of her toes. I thought her
It
like pinky
pans to
toe.
like all of them.
I
at
thought
one
it
point.
pans to almost all of them, and then it gets to the pinky toe, and the pinky toe is like not lit completely. Like you can't see the lighting of it, and so I thought it kind of alluded to her not having all of her toes.
No,
Interesting.
I thought that was to show that she did have all of her toes and that she was setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch that on her. I saw that like she still had her toes, but I didn't catch that it didn't have nail polish on it.
Hmm.
And then the dude gets back, and then Maud's there, right?
Yeah, because I think the dude's apartment is all like messed up.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like I think Jackie Treehorn's men went and they just like destroyed it looking for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I like how Maud's like just doesn't care, and she shows up, gets naked, and they have sex, and then that's when we get a little background on the dude. So we find out that he wrote part of the Port Huron statement. So the Port Huron statement, they were a group back in like the 70s. They started in Michigan, and then he was part of the Seattle Seven, which is it was an anti-NAM movement. And I guess one of the guys, Jeff Dowd, is a friend of the Coen brothers, and he's the inspiration for the dude.
Mm. And he was an actual guy, part of the
Seattle Seven, because the dude says he's like, yeah, and I ran with the Seattle Seven after that. He's like, well, me and like 6 other guys.
Yeah.
Like he was part of these like big like I guess like activist groups before he was the dude.
Mm.
So I thought that was cool because I didn't catch that the first time, like their pillow talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when he says like, oh yeah, I was part of this and that, I was like, oh, what is that? I'm like, that sounds important. Now that I'm thinking about it, right, and like what the Coen brothers are like trying to like put in this comedy, like they're like little allegories.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And it's really crazy because I feel like it really, when we were talking about him and Walter, like they're super opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like the exact foil of each other. So I don't think that they were friends before. There's no way they could have been friends.
I mean, you never know. One of my closest buddies in grad school is like a super Republican guy, and he was like one of the coolest dudes I've ever met.
Hmm.
We just had different like political ideologies, but like as a dude, he was like super cool.
Hmm.
And then what do you think about Maud like trying to get pregnant? Like she's like doing those pregnancy poses.
Yeah. And you figure out why she sent him to the doctor. And it's
to make
because
sure he get genes.
Yeah, and like it's also we didn't talk about it, but like when he goes to visit the doctor and then he leaves the doctor and he's like driving back and he's like smoking a joint and just like it looks like he's like flying high and he's just enjoying life. And he did that because the doctor like got some of his semen and then tested it so Maud could know that he's like a good candidate to have a baby with. That's the only reason why. Yeah, that's the only reason why Maud like goes over there to have sex with him.
Well, that and in a backwards compliment, she says to Lebowski, like, "You're the type of dude I've been looking for, like the type of person who'd be willing to have a kid, but doesn't care enough to actually want to raise the kid."
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "I can do it completely on my own without having to worry about your input." And I was like, "Oh, damn, dude, that's fucked up."
Yeah, I also think this is the conversation where she explains that Maud is the one who actually controls the money, and they got it from her mother who passed before Bunny.
Oh
yeah.
Beforehand, she talks about how her dad was embezzled it though, because he did take the $1 million out of the foundation, and then that's when she tells Lebowski to go get the money back because she's like, I don't want my dad to get in trouble for embezzlement because he stole it from the company.
Mm-hmm.
Or from the nonprofit, which you can't just take money from a nonprofit like that, even if it is your own money, which is crazy. Yeah. You can't just be like, psych, I want it back. Yeah, and then that's when, and then after this is when the dude confronts Lebowski, right?
No, he walks out and he sees the private eye.
Oh yeah, the PI, that's right.
Yeah,
and he's been mentioned throughout, right? Because when he's coming back from Maud's place, the driver is like, hey, who's the guy that's been following us?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like we know there's this dude following him, and then that's right. And then what happens with the PI, man?
He confronts the PI, and I think he pulls him out of the car, and
Gonna fight? That was funny.
I think the PI's name is Defino. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, and it's funny because when the PI is like trying to fight back the dude, he has this like wide stand, like he puts his arms up above his head, kind of like in like an aggressive like
He's a bear.
yeah, he's a bear. Like, hey, don't do anything. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not. But he's just holding this like real wide stance. And then you discover that the PI was hired by brother Seamus.
Yeah.
Trying to find Bunny because Bunny is from like a small town in what is it, like Minnesota, and
Yeah.
Defino, the private eye, has this
And they
picture
show the farm. It looks so depressing.
of the farm, and he's like, I'm supposed to show Bunny this picture and bring her back home. It's supposed to trigger some like homesickness. And then you see the picture, and it's like this sepia toned picture of this farm that there's like no corn, nothing. It's just like a dry plain with a barn and like a home.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks like a bad place to be.
Brother Seamus, is he? You think he's like what are those
Amish?
people? Yeah, you think they're Amish?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, especially if they
Springer
live
and
on
she
a
never
farm.
came back.
Yeah.
I think that happens, right? I think at some point Amish people like give their children time to leave, and then
Yeah,
they could
when they-
decide if they want to come back or
I
not.
think when they turn 21 or something or 18, you go on Run Springer and you get to like party it up and live in like the real world,
Hmm.
and then figure out if like you want to stay Amish. And
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of them leave, but I don't know. Being Amish looks lame.
Yeah, there was a TLC show
Well,
about that
oh,
called
yeah,
Staying Amish.
Being
or-
Amish.
Yeah.
No. I think after once the dude listens to Defino's kind of whole explanation, I think that it like finally clicks for the dude, and he figures out like this whole plot
Yeah,
and
the whole
the whole
plot.
mystery. Yeah.
And then he calls Walter. And he's like, pick up the fucking phone, Walter, because it's like Silver Shamus. He's like, this is an
Oh, yeah.
emergency.
Oh yeah.
And then he answers, and then he like tells him the whole story. He's like, I get that, dude, but it's Silver Shamus. He's like, this is an emergency, Walter. He's like, I know, dude. That's why I picked up the phone. What does this have to do with me? And he's like, get the fuck over here and pick me up. Oh,
And
man.
then he pulls up in his security
That's
van.
when he pulls up in a security van with his ex-wife's Pomeranian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot we didn't mention that earlier, but Walter has like this weird relationship with his ex-wife.
Well, that's where he gets his Judaism from.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and,
He's
then,
like super passionate about it, even though he just married in.
and I like how the dude calls him out. He's like, you got to deal with this ex-wife thing, Walter. You guys divorced 5 years ago. Got her fucking dog. He was Jewish. She's like, what? Because you got divorced from to stop being Jewish? It's a 3,000-year tradition.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught this. So during this scene when they're back at the bowling alley, they throughout the movie they've been showing Donnie bowl pretty much the whole time. He's
hold
the
on,
only one that bowls.
This is after though.
Yeah. He
This
goes
is because
back.
first they go and they confront Lebowski.
Mhm.
Oh, he has the Pomeranian in the car?
Yeah, he has it in the car. He brings it with him.
Mhm.
And then so they go and confront Lebowski.
Uh-huh.
And like basically the dude calls him out for like faking it. And then Brant was like, oh, she just went to Vegas with some friends and she didn't tell us. And then he's like, all right. And he goes and talks to Lebowski. He's like, basically calls him out. And he's like, you have your story. I have mine. And then that's when Walter says, he's like, I've seen a lot of guys in the chair. This dude's a fucking, what does he call him? What's the word he uses? He basically says like he's a fraud. He's like, this guy can fucking walk.
Yeah.
Then he goes and he like picks him up. And Lebowski's like crying and shit. And he just like falls to the floor because he's fucking paraplegic. He cannot walk.
Walter.
He's like,
So
oh
unhinged.
shit. And then he's like, God damn it, Walter, help me pick him back up and put him in the chair. And then that's when they end up back in the bowling alley and Donnie doesn't bowl the strike.
Mhm.
Yeah, he doesn't bowl the strike. And he like holds his hand and he's like looking at his hand like, what the fuck?
He
little bit
holds
of,
his right
his
hand,
wrist.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a
tell.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a foreshadowing.
Yep.
Yeah, he said it's like touching his arm and shit. And then they get outside. Oh
And the
yeah, and then
dude's
it's still Saturday and he's bowling. It doesn't Donnie be like, I thought you don't bowl on Saturdays.
yeah. He ends up going bowling after this whole thing. So
I already broke it.
yeah, he already
Yeah.
broke his thing.
And then they go, and then the fucking nihilists kill fucking the dude's car.
They lit it on fire,
They lit
and
it
there's
on fire.
and they're standing out there. One of the nihilists has a boombox on his shoulder, playing some like industrial music while they're just standing there next to the fire.
And then doesn't one of them have like a sword?
Yeah, one does have a sword, and didn't one of them have like a gun? Like one of them pulls out like I think it's Flea, because Flea is standing on the right, and I think he pulls out a gun. The guy in the middle, who's the main nihilist,
Has a
has a
sword.
knife, and then the guy on the left has just the boombox, and he's just kind of standing there. He's the music man.
And then I like how he's like, oh, he's like, give us the money. And then they tell him like, dude, there is no fucking money. And he's like, fine. Just give us whatever you have in your pocket and we'll call it square. and then Donnie was just like, are we gonna be okay, Walter? And I think this is like the first time that Walter is like nice to Donnie. He's like, everything's gonna be fine, Donnie. These guys are fucking cowards. Everything's gonna be fine. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, fucking give it to it. He's like, no, fuck that. What's mine is mine. I ain't giving you shit.
I think Donnie pulls out like $3. The dude has like $18.
No, Donnie has $18. The dude has $3.
Oh yeah.
And then Walter's like, fuck that. I'm not giving them nothing. And then Walter fucks up those dudes.
Mm-hmm. Single-handedly dominates
Single-handedly.
all the
I mean,
nihilists.
this really kind of proves that he wasn't all talk because he fucks him up. He fucks up Flea when he throws the bowling ball and it hits him like directly in the stomach.
Yeah,
that was an awesome move.
Fucking sniper shot. And then the dude wrestles the main nihilist, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think Donnie ends up
Bites the
saving him.
Yeah. And then the skinny guy is just like trying to kick Donnie. He's like, I'll fuck you up. Oh, no, he's like, I'll fuck you in the ass. Fuck you in the ass.
Yeah.
And then he gets bashed over the head with the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
And then Donnie dies.
And then Donnie dies.
He's having a heart attack. I don't know if you heard Walter. I guess Walter was in like kill mode because he's like, everything's gonna be all right, Donnie. We got the chopper coming in. He's like, call the medics, dude. Call the medics. He's like backing Dom.
Yeah.
And he's just like holding Donnie, and then Donnie dies.
That was a sad death. I didn't want Donnie to die. Why did Donnie have to die?
I read online that I guess this completed like a 3-part joke with the Coens. Oh, so for Buscemi, so he dies in 3 consecutive Coen movies. In Miller's Crossing, he dies and you can see his body, his whole body. In Fargo, the last thing you see of him is just his arm being thrown into the wood chipper. And in this movie, he's officially is ashes. So every time he dies, he becomes smaller and smaller.
Damn.
Nice.
I was like, that's funny, man. That's a deep cut by the Coens.
Yeah.
And then they get to the mortuary, and I like how they're looking over the paperwork, and like Walter takes off his glasses. He's like, "What's this charge for $158?"
It's because they need to sell him a receptacle.
Yeah, and he's like, "That's our most modest earn." He's like, "For $158?" He's like, "Yes, we have some that go up to $3,000." He's like, "Is there a Ralph's nearby?" And they shove fucking, they put him in a Folgers can. That's fucking funny. And then what do you think of Walter's speech when they go and they spread Donnie's ashes?
It starts off kind of nice. Like it seems like Walter really cared about Donnie. And it's going one way, and then I think Walter mentions how like Donnie died far too young, and so did all the people in Nam.
Like all those brave young men in Nam.
Yeah. And he definitely makes it like about like a Nam situation. And then yeah.
I was dying at this part, dude, when he throws the ashes. And then they just all get over the dude. And he's just standing there. He doesn't move at all. He's just staring at Walter. I had to pause the movie because I was just busting up so much.
Yeah, and then the dude says, "What the fuck does that have to do with Vietnam?"
Like, what the fuck was all that shit about Nam, Walter? I guess in the original script, instead of him saying that, the dude is supposed to be like, "What the fuck, Walter? You were never in Vietnam." Like, I guess
Damn.
originally Walter was not supposed to be he was gonna be like a stolen valor guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Dang.
they didn't do that because I think it would have taken away from his character. I think him being like this unhinged, like non-veteran was made him that much more interesting.
Yeah,
I think this is also the one time where the dude actually gets like
Pissed.
really angry. Yeah.
Yeah. Because before he's just like, oh, whatever, like he's like frustrated, but this time he gets like actually mad.
And this is the one time where Walter like really apologizes and like he's actually really sad about Donnie
Yeah, yeah.
passing.
He feels bad. Like he tries to dust the ashes off the dude.
Mhm.
He's like, shit, my bad, dude. And then they go bowl.
yeah, and then he says, "Let's go bowling,"
Mhm.
and
And
that's
then
it.
the stranger is at the bar again, has a short conversation with the dude, and then he narrates us out just like he narrated us in.
The dude abides.
Yep, with a little Lebowski on the way too.
Oh yeah, with the
Mhm.
little Lebowski.
Yeah.
Did you guys find anything cool? Anything interesting about the movie? Any interesting facts? So you know the dude has never seen bowling?
Oh
Huh.
yeah, yeah,
Oh.
the dude or Walter.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Really?
only Donnie. Donnie's
Oh.
It
the
is
only one that bowls.
I didn't
Um,
realize that no one else is bowling.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't notice Walter. Is there no Seymour Walter? I know the dude for sure.
Yeah, Walter never bowls. He's always sitting down.
Fucking lazy fuck. So what would you guys rate this movie? So IMDb. We'll start with Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 80%. And then IMDb gave it an 8.1. I think this is the first movie that we've covered where both Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb have the same scale for this movie. What would you guys give it? Let's start with you, Twan.
I mean, I'd give it a solid A. Great story, great dialogue, great acting. And it was hilarious. I found myself like busting out in laughter in a lot of the scenes in this movie. Yeah, I would definitely give this movie an A.
Any highlights? Any characters in particular that stuck with you?
I mean, Walter, man. Walter's a character. He's a whole character. He plays such a big part in the movie itself, and he's just so unhinged throughout the movie. And a lot of the stuff that he does is just it's just funny. It was a good comedy.
I guess John Goodman said that like this is his favorite character that he's ever played.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Especially
I
coming from
like
like
John
Roseanne.
Yeah, I really like him in Roseanne.
Yeah. Completely
What would you give
different
him, Matt?
character. I wrote A minus.
A minus.
Yeah, I've seen this movie a couple times, but I think watching it again and doing this made me have a different type of appreciation for it. So I liked it more this time than I have before. And I liked all the actors, but I really like the dude. I like Jeff Bridges. I like his I just like everything about the dude.
Agreed. I think so I'm like stuck in between both your guys' grades. I feel like either A minus is kind of where I'm at. I really like this movie. It's always been like this is probably one of my first like cult classic movies that I saw, and I was like, oh, this movie's so good. Like, how is it not successful? It's hard because like I've seen a lot of Coen Brother movies, and I feel like they have better movies. And I guess I don't know if I should hold that against them in any way because it's a good movie. But maybe I'll go closer to A minus because going on our scale, I gave True Romance an A minus, and I think this movie is better than True Romance.
Yeah. I think it's keep going.
I think it's like comparing like a 90% to like a 93%. They're both an A minus. Like it's like almost an A in my book. So I'd say A minus, high A minus, really good. Acting's incredible. Fucking John Goodman as Walter. Like, I feel like I quote this movie like pretty often. Philip Seymour Hoffman is probably my second favorite character, even though like he's not like at the focal point. Like, he just does such a good job as Brandt. And Jeff Bridges is awesome. Like, I didn't really know much about Jeff Bridges until I saw this movie. And then I feel like I started seeing Jeff Bridges everywhere. And Jeff Bridges is a good actor, but I feel like the dude is like his best character. And I really enjoyed his portrayal of the character. He's convincingly high the entire time. I thought it was amazing. So yeah, I give it a high A minus. Would recommend it. Probably one of the better cult classics that I think we'll probably cover on the pod.
Was this movie not well received?
This movie did not make a lot of money.
Mm.
Oh, fuck. Did no one look that up? I think the Coen Brother movies don't usually make a lot of money.
But they're really good.
Yeah, it flopped at the box office. It earned just $17 million on its $15 million budget.
I mean, so
Interesting.
they made $2 million, but
That's a flop. Because I don't know, that's like not a lot. Because I think you still had to pay the actors and all this shit.
well, isn't the actor's salary like tied into the overall cost of the movie?
I guess that's true. I don't know if it's 17 million including advertising. But if it is still or like 15 like including advertising, that's a small budget.
Yeah.
Fucking Into the Mouth of Madness had a $15 million budget. I feel like the Big Lebowski did way more.
Yeah, the production value of the Big Lebowski was a lot better.
I mean, it's the Coen Brothers, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the set pieces that they chose, like, I'm pretty sure renting out like a mom and pop bowling alley to do a couple days shoots probably isn't that expensive.
So that bowling alley was actually in Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood Lanes.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it took place like in Venice.
I could see that.
That
Lebowski looks
where
like a Venice boy.
yeah, where he lives, where the dude lives is like a six bungalow complex.
Bungalows.
That's what they're called. Yeah, bungalows.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Cult of the Living Dead. Join us next week as we do This is Spinal Tap. Get ready to turn it up to 11, people. I have been your
11.
host, The Dale, followed by my two co-hosts, Mr. Saya.
Do I say something?
Yeah, you say bye.
You gotta leave that in. Bye now.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.